How's it guys? Today we have a massive 4-way face-off on our hands in search of the best long-range AR to currently use in Warzone. The EM2, C58, Fara 83 and Krig 6 are arguably the most popular choices when it comes to picking a long-range rifle in Season 5 of Warzone. With the release of Season 5 Reloaded, we saw multiple weapon balance changes, including changes to the Fara 83 with a maximum and minimum damage decrease, as well as the Krig 6 with a recoil increase and an addition of a third damage range. All of these tweaks and changes can make picking the perfect rifle seem like a daunting task. So in this video we'll go with the base stats, time to kill, recoil, as well as the best class setups I recommend to establish exactly where the strengths and weaknesses lie of each of these weapons. If you guys enjoy this type of content and want to stay up to date with the best weapons to use in Warzone, please consider subscribing and leaving a like so we can also help other Warzone players find the perfect loadouts. And without further ado, let's get technical. Looking at how these weapons stack up when it comes to base statistics and time to kill, we can see the Fara 83 has by far the fastest firing rate at 790 rounds per minute. The EM2 does have the slowest firing rate, but is very similar to the C58, with the Krig 6 providing a nice middle ground at 652 rounds per minute. A faster firing rate does have the advantage of making a weapon much more forgiving when you miss your shots. Whereas missing shots on a slow firing weapon like the EM2 or C58 can dramatically push up your time to kill. And speaking about time to kill, this is where the EM2 really shines compared to its competitors, especially after that first damage range drop off, where it will kill faster on chest shots, stomach shots and extremity shots. The C58 on the other hand does have the fastest time to kill in the first damage range on paper, but if you look at shots to kill, it's exactly tied with the EM2. The Fara 83 does offer a competitive first damage range drop off at 27 meters, but when it comes to time to kill, it falls behind both the EM2 and C58 in the first and second damage ranges, only killing faster than the C58 when it comes to chest shots in the second damage range. And lastly, the Krig 6 does have the furthest damage range drop off at 34 meters, but it also has a second damage range drop off at 56 meters. And looking purely at time to kill, it falls behind the competitors in all situations, especially after that second damage range drop off at 56 meters. Taking more than a second to kill for chest and stomach shots in a third damage range. So overall the EM2 offers the best potential when it comes to time to kill, being great up close and offering amazing TTKs at range. But all of these TTK numbers can only be reached if you manage to hit your shots. And that brings us on to the recoil. I went through testing the recoil by using the meta class setups of each weapon. And with this test we can see that the C58 ended up with the most vertical recoil, followed by the EM2. Even though the Fara 83 is the fastest firing weapon tested, it has by far the least amount of recoil. The Krig 6 again falls right in the middle of the pack and is a far cry from the weapon it once was before all of the recoil nerfs. One thing to note is that even though the EM2 and C58 has more recoil, the slow firing rate does make the recoil easier to control, even if you're playing on console. Next, let's take a look at the class setups I used when making this recoil comparison. Starting off with the EM2, with all four of these weapons being Cold War guns, the class setups will be built in almost the same manner, with just a few name changes and attachment tweaks. And speaking about attachments, the EM2 comes standard with a decent base optics similar to the Axial Arms 3X. It provides in my experience less visual recoil than the Axial Arms, and by using it we can free up an attachment slot, which in this case I used to improve the ADS times with the airborne elastic wrap. For maximum bullet velocity and damage range, we equip the HSC suppressor combined with the task force barrel. The field agent foregrip will provide us with recoil control, while the 40 round mag won't give us that massive 100 millisecond ADS penalty of the 50 round mag. Next up is the C58. As with the EM2, we take the HSC suppressor combined with the task force barrel for 45% range increase and 75% bullet velocity increase. The Axial Arms 3X will make long range engagements easier, while the field agent foregrip will help us with recoil control. And lastly, the 45 round mag in my opinion provides us with enough damage per mag, while also not giving us that massive ADS penalty and reload penalty as with the 55 round mag. The Fara 83 is next. The Groove suppressor combined with the RPK barrel will give us the same benefits as the HSC suppressor and the task force barrel. The 60 round mag provides us with 30 more bullets to work with. While the Spetsnaz grip helps us with recoil, it gives us a nice little boost to sprint speed. Lastly is the Krig 6. The HSC suppressor combined with the CMV barrel will give us that bullet velocity and damage range increase we're looking for, while the field agent foregrip will help us with recoil. The 60 round mag will give us our maximum ammo capacity available on this weapon. So with all of these weapons we end up with builds prioritizing bullet velocity and effective damage range, while keeping the recoil as low as possible. And looking at how these attachments changes the stats of each weapon, we can see that the EM2 ends up with the highest bullet velocity. The higher bullet velocity will just make it a lot easier to hit moving targets at range. It also has the fastest ADS time and good reload times. The C58 on the other hand has the slowest bullet velocity as well as the shortest damage range drop off. It does at least have good sprinting speeds and reload time. The Fara 83 is middle of the pack when it comes to bullet velocity, but suffers from extremely slow ADS times and super long reload times at more than 3 seconds. And lastly, the Krig 6 does offer the furthest damage range drop-off at 50.49 meters and again at 83 meters, but also suffers from slow ADS times and reload times. And overall, I still think the EM2 is the most well-rounded weapon when it comes to meta stats, with a high bullet velocity, great ADS times and good mobility stats. But with all of the testing and statistics in mind, what is the final verdict in this 4-way face-off? Well, as things currently stand in Warzone Season 5, the EM2 offers players the best overall long-range AR experience, ticking two very important boxes when it comes to requirements for a long-range rifle, having a very fast time to kill in the second damage range and the fastest bullet velocity. But it doesn't mean it's all doom and gloom for the other competitors in this face-off. The C58 is on the heels of the EM2, also having a great up-close TTK and consistent long-range TTKs. It unfortunately falls behind when it comes to damage range drop-off and bullet velocity. The Fara 83 is also a viable option, providing players with a fast firing rate, making it much more forgiving when you miss your shots. It also has the least amount of recoil between these weapons. And for that reason, I can really see the Fara 83 taking the place of the Krig 6, especially in the hands of new players. And lastly, the Krig 6. At the moment, after all of the nerfs, there's no real reason to choose the Krig 6 above the Fara 83, EM2 or C58. By not having only the slowest time to kill, but also the third damage range drop-off, which will really hurt the long range potential of this weapon. But all of this is just my opinion. I would really love to hear from you guys in the comments below. Let me know if you like this type of videos and if you want to see more of this multi-weapon face-offs. If you made it this far, thanks for checking out this video. If you didn't subscribe, now's your chance to do so. Stay safe, stay gaming, and I'll check you guys in the next one.